I am in this room because I have a story, as always. And it's cool. And I'm recording this, and my parents are not home, so let's see how much I can record before they get back. I hope it's a lot. I hope that they do not get back before I finish. I think there are other people in my house. I don't know, man. The story for today. I wanted to talk about sometimes in school where I have revealed something to a teacher and they've been like, "What? You do that?" It's fun. This is my recording world where my first idea was to tell stories in sets, and that didn't end up well, and I didn't like how that worked. So we're just gonna walk around and have fun exploring all the sets while I tell you about things. I am a very creative person, and I have so many things that I do that are different. They're not normal. They're not like super out there, but they're not typical. And one of the things that I do is my comic, link in the description. Please read my comic, please. And yeah, and anytime I'll tell someone, I'll be like, "Oh, I have a comic." They'll be like, "Can I see it?" And of course, I'll show it to them, and they'll be like, "Cool, that's really awesome of you." One time, I was in art class with a friend, and this friend loves my comic, knows more about my comic than most of my friends. We were sitting in art class, the art teacher comes over, and I don't know what we were talking about, but somehow, the subject of my comic came up, and my friend went, "Oh yeah, Fief has a comic that she does." The art teacher was like, "Oh, cool. You have a comic? Can I see it?" And of course, as always, I was like, "Sure, why not?" So I got on my phone, pull up the latest episode. She starts reading it, and she goes, "Ooh, I like the way you did this. Ooh, this is interesting." You know, all sorts of art things, because my comic is barely art. But there are some aspects that are kind of art. She starts commenting on all the art things. And then eventually she gets to this one panel. Now, in my comic, I like to infuse a little bit of humor. But the thing is that teachers generally do not like my form of humor. And so one of these little bits of funny was a character being pushed up against a barrier. This character, her name is Kara. She goes, "I like myself a strong and confident man." So my teacher read that. All up to that point, she was like, "Yeah, very good, very nice, I like this, I like that." And then she went, "Oh, okay." And then she handed my phone back to me. And I looked at my phone, and to my horror, it was that stupid thing. And so that's why Kara is no longer going to be alive in the rest of my comic. I'm joking, she's okay, she'll be fine for now. There have been other times in classes where I have been a completely quiet little blob, because sometimes I like to talk, sometimes I really do not. And so there have been times where I have been completely quiet, and in this one class, it was a history class, I didn't talk really at all, and so my teacher didn't know me, no one knew me. And so at the end of the year, I did some nice board art. I will put it on the screen, hopefully. So I drew a bunch of animals, and I drew everyone in our class with the help of some of my friends. And that was fun. That was like the last day of class, and they're like, "Oh my god, you're so good at drawing." And I was like, "Yep, I know. I'm great at drawing." I showed them my comic, and I said that's why I was good at drawing. And they're like, "Whoa, that's so impressive." And there was this one guy in my class, and he was like, "Yeah, those people who are able to do these things, they're so talented. Oh, he's like really like businessy and like, and I don't know. He's like very on the grind all the time, 24/7. So he he was like, yeah, those people who can do those things, that's impressive. They're gonna make a living. They're gonna make a name for themselves. That was fun. That was fun being talked about. Like, I don't know, like, I have Shakespeare. My comic is Shakespeare. No, it's not. Anyway, my comic, that's a lot of my talent. The other thing I have is art. I do a lot of art. A lot of art. And so it's fun whenever I can just pull up a little thing and be like, look at this, look what I did. So there's one time I went to an English class, and I was actually really happy with this teacher. I really liked her. She's really nice. I went there, and we were talking about, I think it was like how art can be used to change the world. I went up after class, and I told my teacher about a mural I had made during the summer. And because it was a mural having to do with a problem or an issue, so I thought it was related. And then I showed her, and she was like, that's really cool. And I felt very happy about that. And I was like, great, it's the beginning of the year. We're getting along very well. And then a couple days later, I left her class. Not because of her, because I just didn't, I felt like the class might have been too easy for me. So I switched to a harder class when I wasn't feeling too good about being in the class. But, you know, I was in that class for a solid 2 days, so, you know, that's a world record. Ascend. I always like showing people this painting I did on my wall, because we had to renovate my house recently, so I got to paint on one of the walls, and it's a really cool painting. It's based off of a lake in Denmark, I think. I found the lake on Google, so don't trust me. But yeah, I always get to show that off, and I'm like, oh, look, I'm good at art. One time, my Spanish teacher, she gave us an assignment to do. I finished the assignment really early, so I sat at my desk doodling characters and stuff. So I started doodling all these characters and whatever came to my mind. And my Spanish teacher came up to me and went, Fif, ¿te gusta dibujar? And I went, sí, señor. Normally in Spanish, I try to say the least amount possible because I do not like speaking Spanish because I feel like everything I do is wrong, as you can tell. So, I don't know. I think she likes me, which is cool. My face looks like it has a giant H on it. It's not. It's a derpy face. It's a derpy face, I swear. That's what my Spanish teacher did. There's also another thing that happens, which is the fact that I am so painfully, dreadfully quiet, and I think that my teachers either think I'm emo or have no personality. One time in a different Spanish class, one teacher, during Halloween, I dressed up as a character from Sanders Side, it's a series on YouTube, and one teacher decided, she said, hey, has anyone dressed up for Halloween? And I was like, perfect, she's gonna notice my costume. I mean, it wasn't that much of a costume, I just put some eyeshadow underneath my eyes. But she said, did anyone dress up? And then she went, no one? No one dressed up? And I was like, excuse me, do you think this is what I normally dress this emo? No, I don't. Open door. But I also have another hobby, which is doing makeup that looks like I'm injured but isn't really. It's very scary and fun. You should, yeah, it's fun. And so, being the quiet kid in every class, I will show this to teachers, and I just wonder what they think once they see that this kid who has not spoken at all in any of their classes does that. I mean, come on, really? It's they must think that I am insane or something. Teachers must think that I am weird and I have a lot of interesting hobbies. I'll show them these things and they'll be like, is it real? Oh my god, that is so cool. Yeah, but most of the time, I love school projects where they have art-related things because I can just show off. One time, my wonderful my wonderful social studies teacher decided to give us a project where we had to make a book based on an important person in history. So my friend and I chose Alexander the Great. and I was so ready for this assignment. I was going to make a fully drawn illustrated picture book. Not my best drawings. But at the end of the project, everyone thought my project and my friend's project was the best, or like one of the best, just because I drew a bunch of little cartoons, because everything was handmade. And I'm gonna tell you a secret. Our information probably wasn't that good, but we still did amazing, which is so cool. You just have to pretend like you're impressive in some ways. These sorts of things, though, they're like my little tiny secrets, because I love just thinking, man, if this teacher knew I did this, they would be amazed. And then when they find out, they're just like, I don't care. There's a frog in here. Why is there a frog? Why did I put a frog in here? I also do this with my friends a lot, where I'll show them that I do all these things, and it's nice to just be like, hey, do you like horror movies? Because I am a horror movie. Oh, my art teacher today told me, well, this is out of context, but my art teacher was giving us all advice on what we should do for our paintings, portraits, whatever they are. And she came up to me and she's like, do you have an eraser? Honestly, best moment of my life. Just tell me to get an eraser and erase it all, why don't you? She was really referring to the fact that I should just use an eraser to get the little details and like neaten up the edges. But oh my god, it's so funny to think that she just wanted to get me to grab an eraser and redo it all. One time in Spanish, she gave us an extra credit assignment to do a comic for like, because it was all newspaper based, so, or our unit was about the newspapers. So she told us, hey, if you draw a comic, you can get extra points. And I went, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. And I drew a comic with my two friends in it, which is cool. And I got the extra points, and she was very impressed by it, because the only people who are impressed by my art are people who don't do it. So I think that's gonna be it for this video. But if you like the video, make sure you like it, make sure you comment on my other video, ideas for the room and the cabin thing, because that's cool. And read my comic, and like and subscribe. I said all that. I hope you enjoy it. Goodbye.